I would probably go to a like take off my underwear, use my underwear sort of deal.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Karen's just fixing up the video as well in just a moment. We just saw that it went with the different thumbnail. We love when this happens at the Immortals here. My one would be, I think, similarly, I would have to like call out. I would have to call out and go like, someone bringing through. Although, the reason I thought of this one was because I feel like the default, if you have to do it, you have to do it. Although if I'm on my own, maybe I will decide to be like, okay, I'm gonna jump over into the next stall or something like that. I'll walk over to the next stall. But one of the reasons that idea came up on my mind was I was at VCon. I went to the bathroom. I don't know if I shared it on here. Maybe I told you directly. I can't even remember now. This is such a long week. And someone actually threw over the stall a smoking pen, I guess I would call it. I think it's
smoking pen.
Okay. It was like, when you can have like not like electronic pens. Electronic smoking pens. He threw that over now, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't just a normal one. It must have been like a weed one in particular because it is illegal in Minnesota.
Oh, really?
It is legal in California. Now they dropped it over while I was in the bathroom, and I just looked at it and I was like, okay, maybe did he do that by accident or something?
Yeah.
And then he started lowering it a little bit more, like showing it in front of me, like, grab it. And then I started seeing him just like stand on top of the toilet bowl to starting to look over to be like, hey, here's this to like for you to have. And then I had to say to him like, oh no, I'm good, thank you. And then he sort of like pulled it away. So I was like, okay, that's extremely odd. So if you had people like that and you asked them for some toilet paper, maybe they'd start being really weird. And I'd be like, oh shit, this is whacked.
All right, I've got one for you. Okay. So what would you do if this is related to you were talking with someone about your Kokoda challenge recently?
Oh yeah.
And it got me actually thinking. We did two simultaneous things pretty much at the same time. You did your Kokoda challenge and I did my
retreat,
6-day silent retreat. If we could poll people just in general on which is, let's just say, harder, or maybe which they'd least like to do between the two, what do you think the general population would choose?
I think they would say that the Kokoda challenge is harder.
Yeah.
And I think that would also be slightly, maybe not wrong, but it would be grievously missing some of the aspects that makes the retreat hard. Like, I think the face of the surface value.
So even if I said, how long did your Kokoda challenge last for?
It was 36 hours.
36 hours.
Yep.
So mine was six times 8 hours. So 48 hours a day.
Yep.
Of
48 hours total. 48 hours a day.
Of meditation. In total
yep.
of meditation. Then the other aspect of you're stuck in a room by yourself.
100%. I think it would be. No. Well, at the surface level, I think people at the surface level would say that the Kokoda challenge was harder than doing that, because I think general pop would go, oh yeah, that's just being in a room. I can do that. I'll watch Netflix for
no.
6 hours. I know, but then once you start like delving into the details, I would go, no, actually, for general pop, that would actually probably be much, much harder to do.
Okay, general pop. I've never heard someone actually say population as
general
pop.
Yeah, general pop. General pop dot. So I think that the general population would say, I think a Kokoda challenge will be harder.
Yeah.
I would be interested to hear. Me more lights out there.
And what about ones they'd least like to do? Which between the two of them? Because yours is more intense, but mine was longer. So the suffering was a bit more drawn out.
Yeah, but again, it's like if you just tell people this is without telling them your experience, I think people might think that that meditating / being in a room would be like, oh, sure, that doesn't sound great, sounds boring, but I could do that. But do I have to walk without sleep for 36 hours? That sounds, no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But I think then if you were to share the experience, they would be like, oh, okay, no, that's pretty hard. Like I might walk out of here because it's that hard.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Could be that.
All right. Well, There you go. Well, this is where we'll have to leave it up to the people Boostagramming and i.e. Peter to let us know which he would think it's harder, and maybe even which one he think would the general population.
True. Here's another one for you. If you could invent any food, so this could be a breakfast food.
I'm not the most creative of people.
Could be a dessert thing. Could be whatever. And I thought this too, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to like figure out. Well, obviously, like if it hasn't been invented, it's not like the mere mortals here are going to be bringing it up, folks, because we're not creative in that sense. But what I actually wanted to say was, if you could invent a new food, what would it taste like? What would be the sort of flavor profiles that you would imagine of a new food?
Okay. Well, I can sort of maybe have a stab at this because I went to a Colombian restaurant last night again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So dinner sort of got cancelled with the family where we were planning on going. So it was sort of like, all right, Karen, you were telling us about this Colombian place. Let's go there.
Okay.
So went there, and one of the things that Colombia has, which maybe people in the in this part of the world don't know, is a wide variety of fruits. There's so many different fruits.
Yes, that's true.
And so I had a smoothie, which was called, I'm going to butcher this, Feijoa. Feijoa? Feijoa. Do you know that one?
Feijoa?
Yeah. Yeah. So he said Feijoa. Even though I would have guessed like
Feijoa. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what that is.
In any case, so it was a Colombian fruit that they'd somehow got here, made into a smoothie. And this was kind of sweet with like sour undertones to it. And so I would probably be going, something along the lines of that. And I would probably, I'd go for like a sweet / sour mixture.
Something like that.
And it would need to be a sort of hot and cold balance. So it would be something where sort of like ice cream and warmed up brownies or something like that, where you kind of like take a cut on your spoon of the warm up brownie, cut also on your spoon of some ice cream.
Yeah, you have to.
And then you put them both in your mouth at the same time.
And it's a perfect temperature. Yeah. Okay, that's a good description. I like that. My one came from, and the reason I thought about this as well, when I was in Minnesota, we were at this Argentinian pizza place, and they also had some desserts. And the dessert they had was a churro donut, with caramel dipping, and that was like unreal. It was so nice. And so to me, I would like, if I had to describe the taste of it, would be like a churro donut. So imagine a donut that's basically made out of churro, and then the inside is half the doughiness, half white chocolate cream. I don't know specifically why that is, but I've always enjoyed when it's like a bun with white cream in the middle of it. So it'd be something like that, and super warm, super like warm on the inside and gooey, but just like a nice temperature on the outside. So I was like, oh man.
Have you ever had frozen ice, deep fried ice cream or something like
that?
I have,
but I don't particularly enjoy it, to be honest. Yeah, I've had it a couple of times, and I'm never a massive fan of it. I don't know why, but
interesting. Yeah, because that's one I've been meaning to try for ages, but I'm just
I would never say I would recommend it to somebody, but maybe I haven't had like a good one. Okay. I don't know.
All right, here's one for you. So let's imagine that everything that happened that sort of crypto has promised, or at least that why you've become interested in that area, and that's just as broad as you can be with that. What would be the sacrifice that you would personally take in terms of gains to that would mean like that if it could be ensured that all of the good things that you think will happen to the world, i.e. the unbanked are now banked again, more people have inclusion to use financial services, there's less corruption because people can't fuck with the money, all of the inflation, stagflation, all of those sorts of things are sort of gone away, or at least have been fixed. But it requires a personal sacrifice on your end in that your gains won't be as you won't get to share as much in this. Would let's just say like you invest money and you come out neutral, but all of these things are guaranteed to happen. It's kind of putting you on the spot in the sense of like, show me your virtue one, but
but is it a thing that everybody everybody across the
Just
world
you.
is, it's just me. So it's just me. So it's like, okay, if
You're taking the sacrifice. You're that guy. You know that meme where it's a soldier standing over the bodies of kids and taking
wait. But
arrows
if I
in the
say,
back.
but wait, it's going to happen if I just take 1% of my gains?
So,
Do you know what I mean? Like the way you way you worded it as how much we take.
Okay, so the what if scenario is: would you invest if you just came out neutral, but the more you invest, the more likely it's going to happen. Yeah, that's the way I want to frame it.
The more likely it's going to happen.
Yep.
That.
So you're sort of locking up your own personal interest in terms of making more money, but the more you invest, the more guaranteed that the crypto promises will come true.
Yeah. I guess yes, but I don't know that it would be like to an extreme extent. Like I wouldn't be putting a bucket load, like everything I've got available to be able to put into it. I think I still would.
Yeah, I guess it's a question about your selflessness in a way, or selfishness.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to mention there'd be benefits in it, like the way you're wording it at the very least is like, well, in my mind, it would be then a safe place to store money if it's going to be neutral. Let's just imagine. So it's like a safe storage of space of your money somewhere. Plus, it is doing a benefit to other people. Okay, that's good. And then another portion of the money you might take elsewhere to do your own investing and actually give you some sort of growth return. So you wouldn't utilize cryptocurrency or the like as a growth thing, but you could essentially use it as a bank account basically, and then you're getting some benefits. So I guess, I would say there'd be like a lot, but not all of it. Not all of it. Because they'd still be putting some away to be able to go actually get some growth out of it. Yeah. What would be your answer to that?
Yeah. Once again, I hope I would say yes. I would hope I'd be the sort of person to say yes. And I think for the large part, I would say, let's just say maybe half my net worth. I'd maybe put half my net worth into it and then be like, okay, I can't do much more than that. And I need to, use my money to make money sort of elsewhere. But yeah, it was sort of just got me thinking about, does it always happen where people, good things happen in the world and you get to make money from that? I.e., the billionaires of the world would sort of be arguing this. I'm extremely wealthy because I provided this
great
amazing, cool ass service to the world, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
which I think is only true at like scale though. Like it is true, and when it gets to a certain level threshold scale, that it's like, oh yes, that's now working. But let's just say, and I know obviously this is a very like simplified view, but if Elon Musk was only giving 2 Tesla's cars to like 2 people without the whole infrastructure and everything else, and it's like, well, I'm still giving this 2 people, the ability. Well, it's like, well, bullshit. You're not going to make all this money because everything else is not in place, and it actually, you need it to be a billionaire or have all this money to do that.
Yeah.
But okay, I think we should jump to a couple of Boostagrams or a few of the comments as well.
Joey had a hypothetical for us. So
okay, let's do
hypothetical question is: what would you do with international trade if you were the Prime Minister, Juan? Whoo! Get into them.
What would you do with international trade if I was the Prime Minister?
Yeah, I'll answer this because mine's going to be pretty simplistic. I don't know much about international trade, but from what I can tell, the more open, the better. So I would be trying to open up trade as much as possible, in essence, with
with any and all parties.
Yeah, I would be pretty neutral in terms of I like the Switzerland model of the world, which is neutrality. I don't give a fuck. Just don't come on my land, sort of thing. Yeah. So World War II, and history wise, people aren't even critical of Switzerland for doing that.
Not at all.
It's like you just because they didn't come out against the Nazis, that it's not like Swiss people are branded forever as fence sitters or anything like that. So I think you can make a pretty good argument that even history wise, that's a smart idea to sort of do.
Fair. I think from my perspective, I really would never want to be the Prime Minister. Never want to be a president. Never want to be any of that. But I would say it would have to do. I think I'm going to have to align with that just to be neutral. I think more open and more neutral with a lot of the conversations and try to peel away from the alignment with one country or another to try and promote both like the internal, whatever we are producing to go international and vice versa. But then again, man, there's just so many things from a political / everything that comes which way in terms of between countries and that is not like if you really think that international trade is just about the international trade minister and all that, then like it's not about that. And there's a myriad of other things that would have to be that Australia at the very least is affected by. So if you want to ask your dad, I'm sure he'll tell us that the US completely and utterly affects the way that international trade works. Well, of course, but if we just decide to up and change it, like there is ramifications to that. So for me to say like, oh, what we should do, it's kind of like, well,
yeah. So if I said, I'd open trade, everyone can trade with us, and then people stop trading with us because
we're being
of that
open. Yeah, exactly.
I would sort of take then a pragmatic approach and be like, all right, what levels can I do? And then that's where you become a politician and everyone hates your fucking guts.
Or maybe I'll become
no one is happy.
like a straight up dictator and I'll stop all international trade.
I like that.
No trade at all.
Yeah.
We can only produce what we make here in Australia, but we'll do it in such a way that we'll just redistribute everything. We'll just go straight communist and we just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like within Australia with no international trade.
It's like that island that you were creating in that hypothetical from... I can't remember where that came up from, what episode that was.
That was... what was that for?
It was it the zombie apocalypse?
Maybe.
You
No, it wasn't the zombie apocalypse. Wasn't this the one we were talking about if you could create like a different culture or something like that?
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. Different cultures around the world, something like that.
That's the one.
There you go.
Okay. Any other comments before I have a bit of a look at the...
No. Well, we've any steam we had going was cut off by the live stream deciding to cut out within 5-10 minutes. So we lost Petar. Good.
Goodbye, good sir.
Good sailing. Good soldier.
I swear. Good. Okay. Well, look, we're gonna get straight into the Boostagram then. Boostagram Lounge.
Boostagram Lounge.
So, what was the last one I read from?
So it should be Wednesday, I guess, would be the so what day?
The 27th. Yep.
27th? No, it should be a couple of days before that. 25th, maybe.
25th?
Yep.
Damn. Okay. All right. No, because that one we already read out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go from the 27th of May. We have a big one from Petar here. We got 2 from Petar, 1 from Medus. Medus. I'm actually gonna go backwards. I'm gonna go with Medus first. He says boost 5,000 sats and using Fountain.
Hey,
so
thank you.
Thank you very much, Medus.
For those who are wondering why he's popping up into this region of the world, he's I reviewed his show Fun Fact Friday with Leela and David. So his first name's David on the Value for Value podcast.
Correct.
And they do some pretty cool stuff over there. So
yeah, I did listen to that one as well. That was a good one.
Yeah,
I liked it.
If you want like
I liked what I actually really enjoyed about that. I don't know if I said this to you, that you sent in a Boostagram and they read out the Boostagram with the fact, and that really showcased like that direct thing of like, hey, this is what a Boostagram looks like. This is what it looks like to be read out in a podcast. So that was cool. That was super cool. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, the more I can do that, I that's sort of my plan usually to send in a Boostagram of some sort, and hopefully they'll read it on the show. Not always necessarily, because sometimes they get lost, sometimes etc. But yeah, that would always be nice where I can show that direct feedback and then I can sort of almost craft my own show within their show.
Exactly. It's like the levels of meta is insane.
Yeah.
And now we've got 2 from Petar. 1, 30,000 sats.
Oh my God, Peter, and he's back in the chat as well.
Peter, there he is.
You're too kind.
So he sent that one using Fountain. Congrats on the episode 300. My mere mortals swag has arrived. Much appreciated. On a side note, I'm looking forward to the car mobile bouncing to overpriced LA Grifter Beats video in the future.
Oh, yeah, man. I honestly, I have the feeling like the more I look into the future, the more I see myself just becoming a huge hypocrite, and all the things that I hate now, I'll suddenly like get real into. Look, I never thought I would be interested in money, and yet here I am, pretty much just watching tons of monetary videos of all sorts of different sorts. Who knows?
Say never about politics.
I'll get into politics. I'll start road tripping whilst being a politician. That's how I'll get around.
New 2024 president going down. You're gonna make it over to the US.
I'll masquerade as Johnny Sins, and that way I'll be eligible because I believe he was born in the US.
Yeah, but anyways, Peter, do appreciate that massive 30,000 sats sent using Fountain for episode 300. Super appreciated.
Very
as
cool.
Always.
Very cool.
And then there's another one from Peter as well, which is great episode. My new theory: the more time you spend thinking about cryptocurrencies, the higher the probability you will become a Bitcoin maximalist. Now, this is 2,222 sats.
Quack.
Sent using Fountain.
Nice.
And I actually agree wholeheartedly here with Peter, because the more I find myself listening, reading, reviewing the opposite side of the Bitcoin blockchain tale, the more and more I am becoming a little bit of a Bitcoin maximalist. Now, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I am seeing more and more where that takes place, why like a lot of those ideas might take hold, and you might be like, oh yes, there's only the one Bitcoin and everything else is just, side chains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
If you had to ask me what is money, I'd say Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin's the only one. Now, is there any other value to the other blockchains? And then this is where it gets murky, because some of them claim to be cryptocurrencies. I don't particularly see them like that, although they do have some aspects of that. So I would be a maxi in the sense of, is like what's the best currency? What is a cryptocurrency? It's only Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Bitcoin's the only one.
Actually, and the more and more I think about it,
it's all the other, and then the maxi, just some of the ways they it's broad generalizations here, but some of the ways they behave, I'm just like, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah. Oh, well, the more and more I think about it, I go like, say, like with Ethereum or Cardano or anything else, I go, well,
I'll be a soft maxi.
A soft maxi.
Something
There
like
you
that,
go.
yeah.
I'd be a soft maxi. Yeah, I wouldn't be a hard maxi. I'd be a soft maxi. I'd agree with the points that they make, but I wouldn't be shouting it from the rooftops.
So it sounds like we're becoming like soft maxi pads or something like that. We've got a couple of comments here if you're done with those. Peter asked a question, a hypothetical. How much would you boost the Mere Mortal podcast versus hodling your Bitcoin? And then he gives us the answer anyway. Boost it all, baby. Boost it all, baby.
Boost it all, baby.
Peter, your hypotheticals are wonderful. And then Mr. Broadshoulder says, Dad says thank you for answering the question. And his dad also wouldn't like to be the Prime Minister either, which makes him a pretty sensible person, to be honest. It's the most sensible thing.
I mean, if you want to be a politician, you've got to be a very special individuul, because it works hard. Like the work's like incredibly hard. It's, I don't know, whatever you do, someone's going to hate you.
Fulfilling? Do they feel fulfilled at the end of the day, do you reckon? I'm not sure they could.
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think, well, I think they are fulfilled internally in the sense that they're doing, like whether they're left wing, like whether you're in the Labour Party, Liberals, Greens, whatever, and depending on your faction, whatever you're doing, you're already kind of fulfilling what you think the faction and the party should be doing. So like aside from that, I don't know if like the accomplishment of putting exit play or changing this legislation and the like really brings them that much more
maybe a small scale one. Your local councillor or something, they got a new park erected. Like they fixed this one particular issue.
Well, maybe in that aspect, because you don't get, like you might have, like say 100 people that get affected by it and 98 people are like really supportive of it, and 2, you might get some negativity. But let's just go all the way out to like a prime minister level. You might put in a brilliant thing that helps the sciences and females work in different areas and all this sort of stuff. And you might still get 20% of Australia hating you because of it. And that 20% is going to be way louder than the 80% that you're going to get. And so you might feel like, even though you've done this great thing, you're still getting all this hate, and then it just feels like shit. So you'd be like, oh, it doesn't even feel like I've done anything good.
I was thinking about this recently I probably need to use some better examples for some things. Like, for example, I always use the example of going to the getting like a new license or something like that as a negative. You have to go in, you have to fill out this form, then they tell you your address is wrong, so you need to go to this place, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But the last 1 or 2 times I've been, it's actually been pretty smooth. So this is where I'm also sort of thinking, I typically rag on politicians, but I do have a bit of sympathy for them in that it is, you're never going to win sort of thing. So I should cut them a bit of slack sometimes. So
hey, they're bringing it upon themselves.
I'm sure you know. Sometimes, yeah.
I'm sure you know, like they're going as politicians. Like, are you going to cut? What's his name? Old mate, big guy, Clive Palmer. Are you going to cut Clive Palmer, the billionaire? Some slack?
I honestly have no idea about him. So
yeah. We know. I know somebody. I'm not going to call out his name. I know somebody who has had lots of direct contact with Clive Palmer in the past. Not now.
Okay.
Sorry. Not now, mere mortalites, but like 10 years ago or something like that, through like a work thing. And he was the most arrogant and the most arrogant, most argumentative, most annoying guy you could ever meet. And he was like, I hated him. So I was like, okay, that fits exactly what I thought he would be.
Gotcha.
So, Clive Palmer, if you're listening to the mere mortalites, I don't want your Boostagram. I don't want your boost.
Damn.
Don't even bother.
I'll take it, mate. You can send it, direct it to me.
Direct it to you. Direct it to Karen's address.
I'll cut one out.
3 Bitcoin directly per episode.
Yeah. The other thing I've been thinking about was I recently found out that, do you know who Peter McCormack is? Sort of a Bitcoin maxi on what Bitcoin did. Mm-hmm. Now him and a bunch of other people are getting sued by Craig Wright. Do you know who Craig Wright is? Craig Wright's a guy who's claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh, this guy. Dude, I hate that guy. I didn't know him by name, but I've seen a couple of videos of him like being up on stage, being like, "I'm Satoshi."
Okay, I haven't even seen that. I just know his name, and I've heard he's claimed that, and they were talking shit about him, and he's suing them for libel, I believe, and apparently it's just a nightmarish thing going through the court. So. I also want to make sure that I don't say things like that, so that I have to go through the court system, because that would not be fun.
No way. I actually think it must be a semi-famous video where that's actually taking place. I think he was at a conference.
Peter McCormack, this is?
Not Pete. Well, Peter might have been there, but the guy pretending to be, well, not pretending. Like, maybe.
Fuck, you're getting next. Juan's going to get wrecked.
I'm wrecked.
Get him, Craig, right?
Craig was there.
Yeah.
And I believe Peter was there. I don't know if he was the one who was asking the question, but essentially someone was asking the question of Craig as to why he was Satoshi, and saying things like, well, you know, in 2011 when this happened, and in 2012 when this happened, why weren't you there? Why weren't we talking to you about this when we're doing this? As far as I he didn't have any particular answers, but it did get to the point of being like, well, like Craig was saying, hey, this guy, look at him coming out being an idiot. I'm going to sue you, blah, blah, blah. So maybe it was from that. I don't know.
I believe there was...
Anyways, the current saying is that Craig is a big liar, is what is being said right now. So Craig, if you want to take someone up on a court case, Karen down over here from Australia, I'll give you his address if you'd like to send it through. Maybe you can get funded by Clive Palmer.
He can do that as long as Clive Palmer's funding me. I'm okay with that.
Clive Palmer versus Craig. This would be fantastic. Okay. I mean, theoretically, if he is Satoshi, he shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Why is that?
Well, he's got all this money, so it'd be totally fine. Be able to take him to court, like even if Clive Palmer or whatever.
It's about the principle, one. It's about
the principle. That's true.
All right. So here's a question for you then. Mm-hmm. You've heard of the split brain schizophrenics. So schizophrenics, when they are particularly bad, one of the things that doctors and this somehow, like, who the fuck figured this out? But somehow the medical industry figured out, like, oh, if you sever this connection in the brain, the seizures and stuff become somewhat manageable.
Yep.
Now, what this does is creates I think they literally cut something going in between your left and right side of your brain, and this is where it can cause almost like a split in consciousness, because your left brain controls the right side of your body, right controls the left, which would be fine if they both did the same sort of things, but one side's more got more emotions and things like that, one's more critical thinking. And so what can happen is you can ask people to like have a dividing line going like in their face, so only the left eye can see one side of things, the right side can only see one other things. Ask them what color you see. The person who the brain that's in control of speaking will say, oh, I see red, because red is on the right side or left side, whichever, doesn't really matter. But then if you ask them to write it down, it'll be blue, which is the other side of the brain. If you could have a somewhat control of this power, would you want to split your consciousness into two and be like, I want to have sort of like two separate things going on here at the same time, and then you can like remerge. Now they don't have the ability to remerge. Do you think this is something that would be, I don't know, healthy? Would you? It's something you'd want to do? Would it make you go crazy? Like, what do you think would happen if you could do that?
I'm gonna answer this not in the. So I know you just explained it with the split brain sort of idea. So I'm not going to say that this double consciousness sort of state is via the split brain method, but just purely like you can split your consciousness in two ways is how I'm going to be saying it. But if so, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, I would do that, because what I could imagine myself to do, maybe not all the time, but perhaps you might get one part of your consciousness to go and inspect something, whether it's in your mind or an idea, maybe like the pros, and that same idea in the cons. Or you might be think about it on like all the great ways that cryptocurrencies could do, and what are all the terrible ways, or what are the negatives on cryptocurrency. And then you could merge back together and be like, okay, cool. I kind of looked at it in both ways and amalgamate that to give you a bit of an idea of what it is. I reckon I would. Yep.
Okay. There you go. I don't know about that, man. I feel like life is so tenuous in any case that my grasp on it, I'm not sure I'd want to have sort of two separate realities where as something as simple as what color did you see becomes confused in my own brain.
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine this to be like a long-term play, because in a similar way, well, I don't know why this example came up in my mind, but it's like in cryptocurrencies, in blockchain, like, you know, when you have forking of a particular thing, that this is like encoding, right? When you fork, the going into the different areas, like the amount of energy and like just sheer amount of work that you need to do to amalgamate them back or go back to the stage where there was the original main, it's a lot. So in a similar way, if you had this double consciousness and you all of a sudden were like, maybe we're doing that for a long time, and it wasn't, in my example, you're looking at an idea pros and an idea cons, but I guess you have everything of life going around. So you've got like this almost two separate paths going elsewhere, and then you have to bring them together, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, but I was thinking this here and I was thinking that then. Like, what's reality anymore? What wasn't the reality? What's true? What's false?
I think maybe what I would do is I would use this power, but not for you using to decipher the world as I think it is, or having any input coming from it. But it would maybe be like, you know, I'll go into a black room with no stimulus, and maybe I'm mulling over an idea, or I'm mulling over, you know, should I be with this girl or not? Should I get married to this person? Or, you know, something where I'm having some like internal contradictions, and I think it could be useful then, where it could maybe, you know, split myself apart, and then it's like, you know, here's the point where, you know, you want to have structure in your life, you want to be disciplined and whatnot, but it's maybe more efficient to also have some creativity, because you can be more successful in life if you're more creative, which requires more spontaneity, which requires less structure. And so, you know, blending those two things together, I think maybe you could get some more insights onto, oh, okay, maybe in this situation, this was when this thing is useful, and in this situation when this thing is useful, instead of being like caught up in paradox all the time. Like,
true.
Oh, I should, as Jocko would say, the dichotomy, two things are sort of true at the same time. Discipline equals freedom. Well, does it? Is discipline, is it the freedom? What do you want? So I think maybe in that situation where I could not get confused about reality, but look internally at myself and then sort of try and figure some things out. That's maybe when that would be useful.
Okay. I would vouch for that, for the dark room sort of thoughts. Yep. I like it.
You got one for me?
I thought you were showing something at the moment.
That was just a split brain one, so it was so people could see
cool.
what I was talking about.
The last one I just had written down actually was just a little one, but realistically, if you were at a bank, right, and bank robbers came in trying to steal some money, what would you do?
Man, this is the typical like male fantasy sort of thing. Like what, which is also along the lines of like, I read this in the book once where I thought this guy it was in Snow Crash actually, when in the hero called Hero was driving along and he was sort of mulling over in his own head about certain situations that every young man has fantasized about, which is, what would happen if I just went into a monastery for 10 years and just become like a full ninja.
Okay,
And I was just like, yep, that's probably something that every male is fantasized about. So this, I think, is also along the lines of that. Most males, I don't know about females, have fantasized over this sort of
like
situation.
What happens when this happens?
Yeah. I think what actually would happen would I'd be scared shitless, and that I would pretty much comply with everything. I'm not becoming a hero in that situation.
Yep.
I think as well that I probably wouldn't want to try and be the hero. So not only is that what would happen, but I think I wouldn't want to attempt it either.
Yeah, good point. Because my one would be like in today's day and age.
I've got to break his arm, jump from a. What was all the? I remember once you were talking about like this most ridiculous sequence of.
You'd have to reply how Manchel is. I'm going to break every bone in your body if you don't lower your gun, and then they'd back away 100%. No, but what I was going to say was, actually, if in this day and age someone in to rob a bank, I would. Whatever they want.
You just laugh at them because you know
laugh,
how much inflation is.
Well, but I'd be like, I can't imagine how much money there would be here. To be honest with you, like I don't think there's going to be that much money. Like, you imagine going to a local Commonwealth Bank on NAB. They're not going to have that much money. They're not going to have much money at all. Like, there's no vaults anymore unless you're at like a major place and they have
like a Swiss
gold
bank
or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a local Hyperdome to a bank there. They're going to have no money. They probably have like $100. They'd just be like, here you go, have $100. Like, it would just, I would think it would be funny. I actually think it would be funny if I saw a robbery today. I'd be like, what are you doing? You might as well rob KFC or McDonald's. That's going to be probably better than trying to rob a local bank. But I think so. If I saw it and if I had enough space, I'd just walk away, I'd run away. But if it was like in close proximity and they're like, everybody gets it, I think I'd just follow. I'd just be like, just let them do whatever they want to do and kind of get out there safely because like they're not taking your money and they're probably going to get like minimal amount of money. So minimal loads. If you need money desperately, don't go rob a local bank. I don't think you're going to find much money.
Yeah, no, you're probably better off searching for a crypto person and trying to steal their wallet. And
Go find
which has actually happened before. People have been held up held up at gunpoint and then tortured to give their seed phrase.
Well, get this, because this is talking about so this is a bit random, but crypto security, right?
Yes.
Now, somebody at VCon said this. Who was it? I can't exactly remember. It might have been Ledger, but you know Ledger, right? Do you know Ledger? Have you got a Ledger?
The hardware wallet. No, I don't. No.
Okay, so hardware wallet, folks, for the people who use crypto is basically like a cold storage type of thing, USB. Now, they had some new looking ledgers. They had some which had, some VFriends sort of etched into it. Some of them had a few other NFTs to it, but I'm going to put this loosely, their recommendation was that it did look quite nice. And what they wanted people to do was to put their ledger around their necks and walk around it as like a fashion thing. And I went, are you kidding me?
Bruh.
Can you imagine walking around with your ledger that has all of your things? That is asking for someone to come and take it off you. I just went, don't do that.
Yeah.
Put things on your ledger. Don't be flaunting it to people. That's a recipe for disaster.
Silly.
Like, don't go do that.
Very silly.
Whoever gave that recommendation to VCon, I disagree with you. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I've got one more for you.
Okay.
And once again, this is related to sort of reality bending and whatnot. Imagine in this coming year, so just in the year from now, 3 times a alien type thing appeared just before you. Let's just call it like an orb or a transparent thing, whatever way that if you had to imagine the most likely thing an alien would look like in your head, that thing appears in front of you.
Okay.
And it somewhat like communicates or it's making noises or doing things. And it only happens to you. It only happened in a situation where you were on your own, and it maybe appears for an hour and then it goes away, and you don't know, like you don't witness it go away. Maybe you blink or something and it's gone. That happens 3 times in a year.
3 times.
What do you do? Do you tell people about it? Do you announce this? Do you question your own sanity? Do you what sort of like the mental processes that goes on if that happened?
Dang, I mean, before even the third time, I think if like at the first time, I would do a little bit of research to be like, hey, is this what's happened here? Is this common occurrence?
Is this phenomena is like a ball lightning or...
Yeah, exactly. It's like other people talking about this. I think
if I have too much protein, do I see ghostly?
Exactly, but I think by
is it the ghost of Ziz?
By the second and definitely by the third time, I would be trying to seek out like, hey, is anybody else seeing this? Like this now happening repeatedly. I'd be definitely talking to people about it by the second time it happens, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Now what's going to happen most likely when you do this is you're going to be dragged into the weirdest places on the internet.
Yeah,
you are going to find the forums where people are claiming a whole lot of things. Does that, I guess like your own sanity is what I'm really asking here is like, how much do you start to question your own sanity about what is real and what is not? Yeah.
I mean, the first time I would think whether it's actually real or was it something to do like with my eye? It's like was something like
have you been spiked? Did you get some psychedelics or something like that? That would be my initial thing. But I think my initial thing would be to like discount it or try and provide any other explanation. Than
like I'm trying to find some sort of like logical within normal reason. But if it was happened a second time or a third time, and again it was not completely, directly related to like, it looks like someone's drugged you again or something like that. Then I go, okay, that's weird. Okay, I better start searching this around. Oh yeah, maybe not at the first time would I like lose my marbles to go like, okay, it's an alien, they're coming. I got to tell absolutely every human being.
I'm starting a cult.
This is what's happening. But yeah, by third time I'd be questioning. I'd be like, okay, this is weird. This happened the third time. In this scenario, and maybe I'd start trying to piece it together on, is there any correlations? Is it happening when this is going on? Is it when I have too much protein? I don't know. But, yeah.
Okay, now imagine this sort of starts continuing and maybe even increases in frequency. Do you think you would start seeking out people all the time just so you're never on your own? Would you start taking some decisions?
Let's say it's happening every hour.
Maybe not every hour.
No, it's happening every hour. Let's say it's happening every hour.
Okay.
That you're awake, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like for a 2-second space of time,
just appears.
You see this thing, it's just like, whatever.
Oh man, if it's only for like 2 seconds, and it's that repeated, I think I'd be able to somehow mentally compartmentalize that in some way. I think I'd maybe be because that's 18 times a day sort of thing, most likely, because I'm so I'm not on my own every single time, but I'm on my own a lot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen when you're with people, I'm guessing. It
happens when you're with people as well, but only you can see it.
Oh, okay. Well, no.
It's only in your dimension. Like, let's just say it's like, for somehow your seeing of the dimensions that there is, you're just seeing some random dimension where they're in.
Yeah.
But other people are not perceiving that dimension.
Okay.
So that's how you're able to see it, but they can't.
Yeah, that one might be harder because that's when it really becomes apparent that I've got it. I'm so hyper individualized. Like I'm really a one of one in this world.
But there's others. There might be a couple of others.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying here is like, but even if you think it's a one of one, that would be a hard. It would not like go crazy with it.
Yeah, it would really force in front of my face just how different I am from everyone all the time. Essentially, I don't think I'd like that feeling. So my hypothetical is different in the sense that when other people are with you, the thing doesn't happen. So would you start
gotcha.
trying to hang around with people like all the time? Would you try and make sure that, you know, I'm getting a car lift from here, I need to go to the park, I'm going to call up my friend Benny, and
is it only people? Like, what if I have an animal with me? Will it show up if I've got an animal?
No, it's just with people. So it'll show up if there's an animal. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, actually, that's a tough one because then you could use the animal's judgment. If there's another conscious thing with you, it doesn't show up. So actually, yeah. So if you have an animal, it won't show up with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I might, I'll bottle like a cockroach with me and take it everywhere and be like, I'm good for a little while.
An animal that could react to it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I have to become one of those like parrot of my.
Yeah, I was
side.
thinking of parrot, man. Because you could somewhat get away with that. This is my support parrot. What is that? What they call?
Yeah. The support iguanas too.
Support iguanas.
Well, support like lizards.
Support.
I guess not iguanas, but yeah.
I've seen a peacock on a plane.
What?
I think someone was claiming it was a support peacock, but that could just be Twitter, man.
Jesus Christ. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, cool. I think that's a good place to end it.
No, I think that's it. Is there any other comments before we actually
Joe
tidy
just
up?
said he liked the monster question. The alien question, Joey. It's not a monster.
Joey, are you even listening, mate?
Mate.
Are you in Brisbane? God damn it. Who won, by the way, tennis?
It was 1-1. He
Nice.
won he smashed me in the first set 6-2, I believe. And then the second one was a lot tighter. It was 7-5 to me.
Nice. Okay. Very good. All right, me and Mortalites, we're going to leave it there for the what ifs. If you've got any others that come to your mind if you're listening to this after we've done it live, feel free to send it through on a Boostagram because we are value for value enabled. What does that mean? I'm going to direct you back to the Value for Value podcast if you want to see some examples of how Value for Value works, especially Boostagrams. You want to get yourself some cryptocurrencies. You want to go into podcasting 2.0 apps, and you want to go and send us some boosts like Medus, was it?
David Medus, yeah.
Yep, David Medus and Petar.
The ever generous Peter.
Oh,
very, very
incredibly generous. So, and I will be trying to build out some way where people can see the levels, I guess, of people's boosts that they've sent us through. And as we've talked about in the past, you do get some tasty. You can get a tasty shirt if there is enough of boosts coming through.
Working on all sorts of things. It might feel slow at times, but if you look at it now, I've managed to self-host one of the podcasts. So Kyron from 6 months ago would have been like, damn.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's a whole thing. You overestimate what you can do in the short term, but we'll underestimate what we'll do in the long term. So
for sure.
Stick around, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. For everyone at home who's been watching the live, and if you're listening to this audio afterwards, I hope you enjoy yourself. One out.
Kyron out. Good. Peace out, mofos, is what Peter says.
Ciao. Enjoy your sleep.
Peace out to you, mate. Yeah, enjoy your sleep. Have a fun day at working in the oil rigs.
Yeah.
And enjoy the shirt, man. Let us know
100%
how it fits, what you think of it, quality-wise, etc., etc.
Peace.
Good.